Hello and welcome to watch this video on FRENDS products. In this video I'm going to show how you can use FRENDS Cobalt and FRENDS Radon. First I'm going to show how you can configure and perform a file transfer using FRENDS Cobalt. Later on I'm going to show how you can react to possible failures in a Cobalt transfer and how to report them automatically using FRENDS Radon. Okay, for this tasks I'm going to perform, I'm going to use FRENDS Radon and FRENDS Cobalt tasks, and for each of the tasks, Cobalt and Radon, I have also a connection points configured based on FRENDS Cobalt and FRENDS Radon connection point schemas. The file transfer I am going to perform is a local file transfer from local file system to a locally hosted FTP server on IIS. I have the FTP server right here, the demo FTP. Let's go and see, it's right here, and there is actually demo transfer folder. Let's delete it like that. And here is the input folder, only one file containing, and let's see how the connection point and the transfer is configured. I have this demo transfer connection point right here, and notice this transfer name right here. It's going to be of interest a little later on, but I'm going to point out when it is of interest. First of all, Cobalt basically is configured by defining source and destination endpoints and which directory to fetch the file and what files to be fetched and transferred to destination. For now I'm going to just move one file named file.txt. I could also use wildcards and move all txt or XML files and so on. By default, right out of the box, FRENDS Cobalt supports file system transfers and FTP, SFTP and FTPS transfer, as well as capabilities for defining own custom endpoint implementations, just such as HTTP file transfers if need be. But this is the source destination configuration for this video, and the destination is configured like this. It's FTP and the folder is demo transfer, which I just deleted, and since it's hosted locally, it's just going to be a local host with default port 21, and I have anonymous access allowed, thus username is anonymous, but password is still required. And I am not going to use any message processing for this file transfer, but with message processing you could do some transformation for transferred files, such as XSL transformation, or change the encoding, or take a local backup for the transferred files and so on, or even do some own custom message processing or transformations during the file transfer. And then let's see the parameters. There are some options that you can configure here, such as whether to rename the source file and destination file during the transfer, which are locking mechanisms that FRENDS Cobalt uses in order to try to prevent multiple processes to access the file at the same time. And also we have this option to create destination directory, which we check right now, because I just deleted the folder in the FTP server, but we can create it during the file transfer by checking this option. And then we have some options what to do if there are no source files, or what to do for the source file after the transfer and so on. I'm just going to change this to nothing, as we are going to transfer or try to transfer the file multiple times, and therefore it is needed to be left in the source folder. Okay, let's save it and then move on to routines, where we have a demo transfer which already has the FRENDS Cobalt task, and it is configured to use the demo transfer connection point I just showed you. Alright, then we can go and run the routine. And then let's go and see the routine instances. It was successful. File was transferred, and we can see on this demo FTP that the demo transfer folder was created, and the file is of course here. But what if there is the case that, let's say, the FTP server is not responding for any reason, it is down, or there are some network problems? In such cases, we would like to receive the error for such conditions as soon as possible. And now I'm going to show one way how to achieve that. First of all, let's go and shut down the FTP. Let's click stop, like that. And then let's go and see some Radon configuration in connection points. We can see for this Radon sample, for example. Right here we can see by default FRENDS Radon is configured to include all error messages that are in Windows Application Event Log. Application Event Log is the log FRENDS Radon monitors by default, but it can monitor other error or event logs as well by providing the event log name right here. I could write security if I would like to monitor security log or any other log. I could also monitor remote machine event logs if needed be, but remote machine event log monitoring is very time consuming. But let's look at the filter string a bit more. I have added here this extra condition that the event type is error and the message contains demo FTP transfer string. This means that if the error message body contains that string, it is included in the email error report Radon sends for the events found in the event log based on the filtering conditions. And as I'm going to use this Radon task right after a Cobalt task, it's pretty safe to assume that 1 minute is enough for how long in the past to look for failures. And of course there are SMTP configurations. I can customize the email a bit, and I could even customize the report Radon sends by providing a template file, but that's not the topic of this video, so I'm going to use the default formatting for the error report. I could also provide usernames and password for the SMTP server if Windows credentials cannot be used if the SMTP server is not on the same domain as where the FRENDS Iron is executing. Okay, And then let's go back to routines and edit their routine a bit. There's demo transfer, and then let's add a new task. I'm going to add FRENDS Radon to the process, and since I want to report the errors, I'm going to add the FRENDS Radon in the failure branch of FRENDS Cobalt. This means that this radon task will only be executed when the FRENDS Cobalt file transfer fails. If the file transfer is successful, it is not executed and everything is just fine. I could also add some more tasks to be executed after either successful or failed transfers, and even add multiple tasks to be added simultaneously. But that's not the topic of this video. I'm just going to show this simple configuration for this case. FRENDS Radon's task configuration differs a bit from that of Cobalt, as I could actually enter all the information I showed in connection point right here, but when using this CP notation with this XPath, with it I can reuse this task more easily and even provide a connection point group for the task, in which case FRENDS Radon task would be executed for all the different connection point configurations in a group. But for this demo, I'm going to use one connection point, like that. And that is still not enough. I also have to check this ignore failure in a routine end state for FRENDS Cobalt. What this does is that by default, when a failure occurs in the process is aborted immediately and no other tasks after the failed task are executed. But when ignore is checked, the process still continues and allows us to execute the radon task in the failure branch. Alright, let's save it. And I actually have an email box right here ready to wait for error reports. And let's go to the instance page and run the routine. Now it takes a little while to execute, like that. It shows that it was successful because of the ignore was checked, but in the process we can see that the FRENDS Cobalt was actually a failure right here because of the FTP server was down, and FRENDS Radon was successful and email was sent. I can see the email in my email box right here. We can see what it looks like. It actually is the whole message that is on a Windows application event log. We can see the filter used right here, and the message body here contains the demo FTP transfer, which I used in filtering conditions, and this is also the same that I provided for FRENDS Cobalt's transfer name. We can actually see the error message also right here for FTP server being down. Alright, That's one way to achieve immediate error reporting for failed Cobalt file transfers. So, what we learned from this video. FRENDS Cobalt is a file transfer utility which supports transferring files between different types of systems, or endpoints as we call them. It also supports doing some transformation for the transferred files. FRENDS Cobalt also has an application programming interface for defining any custom type of endpoints or processing done for the message if those provided out of the box are not enough. FRENDS Radon is Windows event log monitoring and reporting tool. FRENDS Radon can monitor either local or remote machines, event log, and send an error report for the events using the SMTP. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.